The deception of peace. Commander Nora Valente's breath fogged against the pristine viewport of the UES Artemis, Earth's premier diplomatic vessel. Beyond the reinforced glass, the swirling bands of Jupiter cast their pale glow across the observation deck. Humanity had spread across the solar system, building colonies on Mars, mining operations on Mercury, and research stations orbiting the gas giants. Yet in cosmic terms, they remained infants, confined to a single star system. "Commander, we're receiving the signal," Lieutenant Zhao announced, his voice tight with anticipation. "The Concordat representatives have arrived at the designated coordinates." Valente straightened her midnight blue uniform, emblazoned with the United Earth emblem, a silver globe encircled by 3 stars. "Notify the diplomatic team. I want everyone in position before our guests arrive." For decades, humanity had sent signals into the void, hoping for a response. When it finally came 3 months ago, the world changed overnight. They were not alone. The Galactic Concordat, a coalition of 7 advanced species, had acknowledged Earth's existence and offered formal first contact. The massive vessel that materialized beyond Jupiter's orbit dwarfed the Artemis by a factor of 20. Its crystalline hull seemed to bend light around it, creating prismatic patterns that shifted with hypnotic grace. Valente had seen the images countless times during preparation briefings, but witnessing it firsthand stole her breath. "They're hailing us, Commander," Communications Officer Patel reported, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. "Put them through." The main view screen illuminated with a being that appeared vaguely humanoid, though its skin shimmered with an iridescent blue quality. For eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern, regarded Valente with ancient patience. "Greetings, Commander Valente of Earth. I am High Emissary Zoran of the Visian Republic, representative of the Galactic Concordat. We welcome humanity to the greater community of sentient species." Valente executed the formal greeting they had been instructed to perform, right palm over heart, head slightly bowed. "High Emissary, on behalf of the United Earth Government, we are honored by your presence and the opportunity for peaceful exchange between our peoples." That exchange, as it turned out, seemed almost too good to be true. The Concordat offered humanity technological wonders beyond imagination, fusion reactors that dwarfed Earth's primitive attempts, medical advances that promised to eradicate disease, and propulsion systems that would allow humans to reach nearby stars within weeks rather than generations. In the 6 months that followed first contact, Earth transformed. New cities rose with Concordat architecture seamlessly integrated with human design. Disease rates plummeted as Concordat medical technology was adapted for human physiology. The first interstellar colony ships were already under construction. Commander Valente found herself promoted to diplomatic liaison, shuttling between Earth and the various Concordat embassies now established throughout the solar system. Yet beneath her professional demeanor, unease had taken root. "The databases they provided are incomplete," Dr. Marcus Freeman, Earth's leading xenolinguist, confided to Valente during a private meeting in his laboratory at the Geneva Institute. Freeman's office was cluttered with holographic projections of alien script, 7 distinct languages representing each Concordat species. "What do you mean, incomplete?" Valente asked, ensuring her voice wouldn't carry beyond the sound-dampened walls. Freeman gestured to the displays. "There are gaps in their historical records, deliberate omissions. And their language teaching modules contain inconsistencies, phrases that don't translate properly when analyzed against their provided lexicons." "Could it be simple translation errors?" "That's what I initially thought. But look here." Freeman pulled up side-by-side communications from 2 different Concordat species, the crystalline Thexians and the gas cloud Luminar. "When communicating with us, they present unified historical accounts. But I've intercepted communications between them that reference events and species never mentioned to us." Valente felt a chill despite the room's comfortable temperature. "Have you reported this?" "To whom?" "Half the UEG Council practically worships the Concordat now. And I have no proof of malice, just discrepancies." The discovery on Neptune's moon Triton changed everything. What began as a routine expansion of a research outpost led to the unearthing of artifacts buried beneath the moon's nitrogen ice, artifacts that predated known Concordat civilization by thousands of years. Dr. Olivia Reyes, the lead archaeologist at the Triton outpost, had barely contained her excitement during the secure transmission. These artifacts contain energy signatures similar to Concordat technology, but more refined, more elegant in design. Commander, I believe these belong to a species that predates the Concordat, possibly one they've never mentioned to us. Within hours of that transmission, all communication with the Triton outpost ceased. What do you mean we've lost contact? Valente demanded, storming into the UES Artemis Command Center. Lieutenant Commander Jackson looked up from his station, face ashen. Total communications blackout. Commander, we've dispatched a reconnaissance drone, but it will take 12 hours to reach Triton's orbit. The drone never arrived. Instead, an emergency transmission from Mars Colony interrupted a tense waiting period. This is Governor Way of Mars Colony. We are under attack. Repeat, we are under attack by Concordat vessels. They came without warning. Our defense systems are. The transmission dissolved into static. Across the solar system, human outposts reported similar attacks. The Concordat's betrayal was swift and methodical, targeting military installations and communication arrays first. On Earth, Valente found herself in an emergency session with what remained of Earth's leadership. Admiral Dmitry Volkov, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, displayed tactical projections that painted a grim picture. They've destroyed our outer system defenses and have blockaded Mars. Luna Base is under heavy bombardment, and we've lost contact with Venus Station. Their technological advantage is significant. But why? Demanded President Okafor, her usually composed demeanor cracking under pressure. We posed no threat to them. Admiral Volkov's expression darkened. That we know of. Understanding dawned on Valente. The Triton artifacts. They attacked immediately after Dr. Reyes reported the discovery. President Okafor turned to her. Commander Valente, you've had the most direct contact with the Concordat representatives. Did you notice any warning signs? Several, Madam President. Dr. Freeman and I compiled inconsistencies in their communications and historical records. We believe they've been manipulating multiple species, possibly for millennia. The emergency session was interrupted by an incoming transmission. High Emissary Zoran, his 4 eyes now cold with purpose rather than diplomatic warmth. People of Earth, the Galactic Concordat has determined your species unfit for integration into the galactic community. Your aggressive tendencies and rapid technological adaptation pose an unacceptable risk to cosmic stability. Submit to Concordat authority and relocation, or face extinction. President Okafor stood tall before the transmission. We will not submit to unprovoked aggression. Earth rejects your ultimatum and will defend itself. The transmission ended, and the room fell silent until Admiral Volkov spoke. We need time to mobilize and adapt. Our conventional forces can't match theirs. Then we fight unconventionally, Valente suggested, mind racing through possibilities. The Concordat expects direct confrontation, traditional warfare. We need to show them something they've never seen. As the meeting dispersed with grim determination, Valente received an encrypted message on her personal device. The sender was untraceable, but the content froze her blood. Commander Valente, this is Dr. Reyes. My team and I escaped Triton before the attack. The artifacts we discovered aren't just ancient technology, they're weapons designed specifically against Concordat physiology. And there's more, records indicating Earth was seeded by a civilization the Concordat destroyed millennia ago. We aren't just finding this technology. We're reclaiming our inheritance. Coordinates follow. Trust no one within the Concordat. Some of us have suspected their true nature for years. The message included coordinates to a location in the asteroid belt and a final line that kindled hope within Valente's chest. You are not alone in this fight. The Concordat's subjugated worlds have awaited this moment for generations. Earth's resistance is the spark that will ignite a revolution across the stars. As Valente encrypted the message for transmission to Admiral Volkov, explosions illuminated the sky above Geneva. The Concordat's invasion of Earth had begun. Humanity's fight for survival, and perhaps the liberation of countless worlds, was only just beginning. Outside her window, the stars seemed different now. No longer beacons of exploration and discovery, but battlefields waiting to witness humanity's defiance against the cosmos itself. The Awakening Storm. 2 years after the Concordat's devastating first strike, Earth remained unbowed. The invaders had expected swift capitulation, not the fierce resistance they encountered. What the Concordat failed to understand about humans was simple. They evolved through adversity, thrived in chaos, and innovated most brilliantly when cornered. Fleet Admiral Ryota Takeda stood on the bridge of the U.S. Defiance, a vessel that hadn't existed 2 years ago. Its hybrid hull incorporated salvaged Concordat technology with human ingenuity, appearing on Concordat sensors as space debris rather than a warship. The perfect predator. Status report, Takeda commanded, his weathered face illuminated by tactical displays. At 63, he had been called out of retirement when the war began. Once considered too unorthodox for peacetime command, his unconventional thinking now made him humanity's greatest military asset. Lieutenant Gabriela Ortiz, the ship's tactical officer, responded without looking up from her station. Concordat patrol vessels maintaining standard formation. They haven't detected us yet. Proxima Colony distress signal still broadcasting on all frequencies. And our allies? Takeda asked, referring to the coalition that had formed in the wake of Earth's resistance. The Noxian flotilla is in position behind Proxima's second moon. The Vordari stealth teams have infiltrated the Concordat command center on the surface. Takeda nodded, satisfaction evident in his dark eyes. The Noxians, amphibious beings with remarkable regenerative abilities, had been one of the first subjugated species to ally with humanity. The Vordari, with their natural ability to alter their skin pigmentation to near invisibility, made perfect infiltrators. Both species had suffered under Concordat rule for generations. Begin Phase 1, Takeda ordered. Throughout the Proxima Centauri system, seemingly inert debris, actually disguised human EMP devices, activated simultaneously. Concordat ships, reliant on a particular frequency for their internal systems, suddenly found their communications and weapons disabled. Not permanently, but long enough. All vessels, execute attack pattern Prometheus, Takeda commanded. The U.S. Defiance and 5 other camouflaged warships decloaked and launched their assault. Unlike traditional space warfare that relied on energy weapons and predictable vectors, Takeda had developed what he called orbital guerrilla tactics, rapid strikes from unexpected angles, using the celestial bodies themselves as cover and weapons. Sir, Lieutenant Ortiz called out, Concordat reinforcements entering the system. Takeda remained calm. Right on schedule. Signal the Noxians. From behind Proxima's moon emerged 20 Noxian vessels, smaller than Earth ships, but more maneuverable. They carried specially designed boarding craft filled with Noxian warriors, their regenerative biology making them nearly impossible to kill through conventional means. Incoming transmission from the surface, Communications Officer Patel announced. It's Director Reyes. Dr. Olivia Reyes appeared on screen, her face smudged with dirt but her eyes bright with triumph. After escaping Neptune's moon with critical artifacts 2 years ago, she now led Earth's Advanced Weapons Division, working to unlock the ancient technology that predated the Concordat. Admiral, we've secured the colony's central hub. The Vordari were magnificent. The Concordat never saw them coming. But that's not why I'm calling. Her expression intensified. We found their archives. We know why they fear us. Go ahead, Director. Reyes took a deep breath. Earth wasn't randomly discovered by the Concordat. We were being monitored for centuries. According to their records, humans share genetic markers with a species called the progenitors, the civilization that created the artifacts we found on Triton. The same civilization that nearly overthrew the Concordat 30,000 years ago. Murmurs spread across the bridge. Takeda silenced them with a raised hand. And the artifacts? Weapons, certainly, but also information storage devices. The progenitors didn't just fight the Concordat, they created a network of resistance across the galaxy. Then they seemingly disappeared, but not before seeding various worlds with their genetic material. Earth was one such world. We're descendants of these progenitors? Takeda asked, mind racing with implications. Not directly. More like, their chosen successors. The Concordat has been systematically eliminating any species that shows genetic compatibility with progenitor technology. That's why they attacked as soon as we found the Triton artifacts. The tactical display flashed as Concordat reinforcements engaged with the Noxian fleet. Despite being outnumbered, the combined human-Noxian force was holding its ground, employing battle strategies the Concordat had never encountered. Admiral, Executive Officer Hiroaki Yamamoto interrupted, Concordat vessels are changing formation. They're attempting to establish a blockade around the planet. Takeda studied the tactical display with narrowed eyes. They're following standard Concordat doctrine, establishing a spherical containment pattern. A slight smile touched his lips, which means they're not adapting. He tapped his console, bringing up a direct link to General Deo Okonkwo, commanding Earth's Special Operations Forces on the surface of Proxima Colony. General, initiate Operation Wildfire. On the colony surface, Okonkwo's forces activated devices that began broadcasting on Concordat civilian frequencies, transmitting documented evidence of Concordat atrocities, historical manipulations, and lies told to their own people. Similar broadcasts had been secretly deployed across Concordat-controlled systems for months, carefully building a foundation of doubt among civilian populations. Sir, Ortiz reported, we're detecting unusual activity within the Concordat fleet. Several vessels are breaking formation. Show me, Takeda ordered. The tactical display revealed 3 Concordat vessels moving against commanded patterns, positioning themselves protectively between the human fleet and their own forces. Incoming transmission from the lead Concordat vessel, Patel announced, surprise evident in her voice. The view screen illuminated with the image of a Decian officer, similar in appearance to the High Emissary who had betrayed Earth, but with distinctive green markings across its face. This is Subcommander Velex of the Decian Republic Navy. We request immediate parley with Admiral Takeda. Takeda exchanged glances with his bridge officers before responding. This is Admiral Takeda. State your purpose, Subcommander. Admiral, what you've broadcast to our civilian networks. Is it true? Has the Concordat Council been manipulating our history, eliminating species based on genetic compatibility with these progenitors? We have documented evidence from your own sealed archives. Takeda replied carefully. The Concordat has been systematically suppressing technological innovation and eliminating potential rivals for thousands of years. The Thexians' 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of distress in their species. We were told we were bringing order to a chaotic galaxy. That species like yours would destroy themselves without guidance. And yet here we stand, Takeda said, fighting not for domination, but for the right to exist freely. Ask yourself, Subcommander, if your leaders lied about this, what else have they hidden from you? The bridge fell silent as they awaited the Thexians' response. When it came, Velex's voice was resolute. Admiral Takeda, there are many within the Concordat fleets who have questioned our leaders' decisions regarding Earth. Your resistance has inspired others, not just subjugated species, but dissident factions within our own civilizations. We offer our allegiance and information that may turn the tide of this war. 6 months later, the combined fleet of human, liberated species, and Concordat defector vessels gathered at the edge of the Lumina system, home to the Concordat Council's seat of power. Over 40 species were now represented in the coalition that called itself the Galactic Alliance. Admiral Takeda stood aboard the newly commissioned UES Unity, 3 times the size of the Defiance, and incorporating technology from a dozen different species. Beside him stood Commander Nora Valente, now serving as diplomat to the Alliance forces. 2 years ago, they thought they could exterminate us without consequence, Valente said, gazing at the tactical display showing hundreds of Allied vessels. They never imagined this. Hubris, Takeda replied, is the downfall of any civilization that believes itself invincible. The Concordat ruled for 30 millennia without meaningful challenge. They forgot how to adapt. The Alliance fleet had liberated 17 star systems in the past 6 months alone. With each victory, more Concordat civilian populations rose in support, more military vessels defected to their cause. The Concordat Council, insulated by layers of power and privilege, had failed to recognize the revolution brewing within their own society. All fleet elements report ready, Admiral, Yamamoto announced. Takeda nodded. Signal the fleet. Operation Dawn commences in 30 minutes. As officers dispersed to their battle stations, Dr. Reyes approached Takeda and Valente, carrying what appeared to be an ancient artifact, a crystalline sphere that pulsed with inner light. The final piece, she said, her voice low with reverence. We've decoded enough of the progenitor technology to activate their network. When we enter the Lumina system, this will neutralize the Concordat's primary defense grid without harming civilian infrastructure. And you're certain it will work? Takeda asked. Reyes smiled. The progenitors designed their technology to respond to specific genetic markers that humans carry. In a sense, Admiral, we were made for this moment. As the fleet prepared to jump to the Concordat homeworld, Commander Valente found herself reflecting on humanity's journey. From isolated planetary civilization to the catalyst for galactic revolution in barely 3 years. The cost had been staggering. Earth still bore the scars of Concordat bombardment. Millions had died in the initial attacks, and countless more in the war that followed. Yet humanity had not just survived, they had united the galaxy in a way the Concordat never could, not through domination and fear, but through alliance and mutual respect. Message from Earth, Admiral, Communications Officer Patel announced. President Okafor sends her regards and a quote from Earth history. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Takeda nodded appreciatively. Signal all vessels to prepare for final jump. Today we liberate not just ourselves, but a galaxy. The Alliance fleet vanished into hyperspace, bound for Lumina and the final confrontation with the Concordat Council. The stars themselves seemed to watch in anticipation, waiting to witness the fall of an ancient tyranny and the birth of a new era where no species would dominate another, where humanity would take its place among the stars not as conquerors, but as liberators. As the U.S. Unity emerged from hyperspace at the head of the vast Alliance Armada, Admiral Takeda gave a single command that would echo across civilizations for millennia to come. All ships, commence Operation Dawn. Let's show the galaxy what humanity stands for.